want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
Every election. So now, because they can't beat me, they got to do this smear campaign to convince public opinion that I'm bad for them.
So you said 2 elections. You were first elected in 2021?
No, 2013 was my first election for trustee. I was a trustee. I sat where they are.
Right.
That's why I know the law.
Council.
Yes.
Elected mayor 2021.
Yes.
Terms 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. Plans of running for re-election?
I'm running for both my seats. And I'm going to win them.
So, and when is the election for Thornton Township?
2025.
So those elections at the same time?
They are.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
You know, and this is probably why too, because they like, yo, her mouth is just getting big, it's making sense. People are thinking on their own. Let's shut her the fuck up again. Let's try it. You can't try it, okay? I'm gonna be like Nicki Minaj, uncancelable, bro. Blah, blah. Fuck it. The people who love me just gonna love me, just like they did when I was in the hood. Once I go outside and they get to know me, they like me. You can't stop it. This is the last thing. Because I have been endorsing to a certain extent Nate Feld, I got to do this. This was something I did not know. I didn't go look it up, but allegedly shots fired. People going after Nate Feld trying to expose some bullshit. Yeah, they pulled up some bankruptcy shit on Nate. Like, you broke. Let's get to it. I'm going to have to keep it real. This is what they did, and we're going to talk about it because real is real. And then if we got time, we're going to get into what the judge said about Nate Fallon, because y'all want to talk about this, but then y'all don't want to talk about how smart the man is. Okay. Now, just because he didn't have no money to pay bills doesn't mean that he would not pay bills if he had the money. And I ain't making no damn excuses for him. Okay. I'm just being honest. Shit, what you expect? People ain't got nothing these days, but all right, hold on. That was a stupid post by Mayor Henyard. Hold on, I'm just trying to find the original post where you got the person talking about, I'm so alarmed, and I'm not being funny because I got to talk about it. If I talk about Henyard downfall and everybody else downfall, Nate got a downfall. Allegedly, he was bankrupt. Hold on. Who said this? I'm trying to get the original post. All right. We there? We about to get to the end of this. It's a little messy today. Damn, I didn't know it was going to get that messy, though. Hit the like, hit the like. I didn't expect for me to go off on this person. I didn't expect for me to say as much I was going to say about Vivian, and I did not expect me to say that much as I said about Jedediah. But I just have to keep it real. If I have to take a whole glass to shut the fuck up and just be a human being and focus on what it is, everybody kicking in your butt, what the fuck? Well, I'm gonna put my personal feelings on in it. It's especially when we all have our own platforms, our own way of doing things, and we're all different. Like, where the fuck is the competition? I'm in no competition with nobody because nobody is like me. I'm not like y'all, obviously. I don't want to be. I like, somebody asked me what I do in my free time. Listen to corny ass documentaries about CIA files that was released. I like what the fuck I do. I'm not never afraid of the bullshit. Go ahead and find out Grace's love being a cornball and then talking shit. I'm a hood scholar. I like who I am. You can never break me. It probably hurt my feelings because I love people so much and I don't expect y'all to be so fucked up. But I realize I'll put that empath down, cut the damn cords, and watch y'all ass burn from a distance. And the ones that come on this side, we gonna fly. Fly like an eagle with no fucking issues. Let's get to this. All right, after seeing a recent communication exchange on another site, I wanted to share this. This is meant for informational purposes in regards to voting. Now, this is when I know they're trying to knock Nate out the game. If they would have knew this from before, they would have brung this up and challenged him, but your dumb ass didn't. Now, you big dummy, you chose the wrong thing to challenge him on. But you're still trying to come? Too late, just like Tiffany is say. Nate Feld, okay. And having bankruptcy owing money ain't good, because I got good credit and I don't like to owe, but I'm just cracking jokes here. Nate had denied any form of bankruptcy or financial issues. However, we have documents here. I share this in saying these are no more than 1 years old, 1 years old, some not even 6 months. Recently, he was sued for $2,000 debt with Discovery. He has had a building foreclosure and a business involuntary dissolve. When asked about these, his response was that we should not consider it because he's a victim of Henyard and the supervisor do not control finances or operations of the township. Is this not Tiffany exact claim? So he's not even in her position. So I don't know where the building came from and how he connected that to the Thornton Township. But let's move. If I cannot come up with $2,000, how is he financially sound? If he cannot run a small business of his own finance, how can he be trusted with an entire township, hundreds of employees, and millions of dollars? He denies ever having these issues until being shown the proof, and at which time he said, well, I won't have control over finance anyway. I took screenshots of everything before he conveniently deleted them from the post. If his job is not to lead the town into financial security and manage the staff, then what is it? Also with control of GA funds. And okay, so this was a mouthful. And I will have to say, I have to take that in consideration, because that's something that you really have to, consider, especially if you in real estate. Me being in real estate, that's why I would never actually rent to people, because they asses don't pay rent. And so you got to go in the background and figure out what they had did. So here they pulled up Nate versus Discovery. We'll put that up there. I mean, I'm gonna put the receipts up there. It is what it is. But I will say, how old is Nate? Let me know how old is Nate. Just let me know right now, because he a young boy, and my son and everybody in this age group right now is broke as fuck. They have been deprived, and I'm not saying Nate falls in the same age group as my son. My son is 21. But these young people who was born in 2000s and the late 1990s are suffering from something different. Not only did we talk about the deprivation of the educational system, them taking out, building up these fake ass charter schools, taking out technical institution, taking out skills, not pushing big careers like engineering, architect. They never pushed that in our area. And they're putting drugs and all types of shit. And I'm not making excuses, but shit is fucked up. Okay. So I'm gonna be real. What I was hearing, he was working part-time jobs, and the part-time jobs that I heard he was working was basically what the average person is doing now that has a hard time finding a job. But that does not mean that if he didn't have the money, if he had the money, that he wouldn't want to pay his bills. But I can't cap for him like that. But I'm just throwing shit out there. Okay, this is real. You wouldn't be quick to rent to somebody who has some shit on their credit report. So they found this credit card collections, $2,000, things like that, which is not good. But I will say, if my son didn't have a mother like me, he wouldn't be as far as he is, and he's still fucked up. And I gave him good credit and everything. Taught him about business, finance, got his business set up, and shit is still hard for him in his age group. I can't even expect him to get the hell out of my house in the next 2-3 years. The plan is literally buy extra property, make the shit big enough to put different pieces of land on, houses on it, and make it happen. Because the way finances is going, we all of Shit's Creek, and I'm not making an excuse. But you got to give me some more, because you bring up Discovery and then you bring up a bank foreclosure allegedly. So we did the Discovery, and then you talk about a foreclosure. Now, this foreclosure, I would say, let me see if I have that, because they talk about the foreclosure, but I will say, if he did have a foreclosure, This is the involuntary dissolve of sharpshooters. So he had a business. This is Discovery. Discovery, he has to go to court on the 19th. So this is why this wasn't discoverable, because he's still in court now and he could pay it off. So obviously he ain't lie yet, you big dodos. He's still in court for this shit. Hold on, I just looked at it. That's why it wasn't discoverable. That's why your big dodos didn't find it, huh? Now it makes sense. I was like, why the fuck they didn't find this before? Because this is not discoverable, like as far as it's not out of court yet. Look at that. You got to go to court on 2/19/2025. And this is discovery in him. Okay. Well, by then, hopefully he gets some money and he paid. How about that? Do a GoFundMe. They trying to set you up, Nate. And the next thing they said was, so they talked about the dissolve the LLC. I think that I took that off. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to bring up the dirt. Then they put the election code up there. Hold on. No, that was about that. Hold on. The Discovery, he owed $2,052. If y'all could raise money for Clean House 2025, y'all could raise that for Nate. Yep. I'm talking shit. So basically, let's just get to it. Maybe because I got a little bias because I do think Nate has a good heart. And if he does need help managing finances, this was his actual response. And hey, he was like, fuck it. That's why we got the trustees there. Shit, what you think? I'm just keeping it real. He done pulled it. He said, I understand your perspective, but Thornton Township financial management isn't solely the responsibility of the supervisor. The supervisor and their team hire qualified professionals to handle department budgets, and that's what they do. While the skilled financial director oversees and track funds, and that's what he's supposed to do. But Hunt, thicker than the snicker ass, all scared of Tiffany, Tiffany be running him. But Nate, like, I ain't about to do that. Additionally, the trustee play a crucial role as they vote to approve budget. The supervisor does not have as much power as people often assume. It is the trustees and employees who serve as the backbone of the township. And I will say that I don't think that's a lie. Because as we start to, wrap this up, basically Tiffany was saying, I ain't got no credit cards in my name. All the department heads have the credit cards in their name. Next time, I'm going to hire more people who can do their jobs better. You see how she threw that shit off? And then now you see how they have an extra trustee in there. Tiffany ass hasn't been showing up, can't do shit, can't move shit, can't say shit. Because it takes a collective to get shit done. Because Tiffany was a monster and tyrant and doing shit like this, busting on down the road, and also doing shit like this. I'm going to have to put this on the screen. We're going to have to lighten it up a little bit. Shout out to my favorite resident. She said that this is Tiffany and her goons.
Now, all you crackheads, out! Now, all you crackheads, out!
And that's what the hell we say to Tiffany. All you crackheads, go. Let's play this real quick while we look at the summary of what Nate, what the lawyer said about Nate, since they want to throw dirt on Nate's name. Put some respect on that man's name. We know he broke. I knew he was broke. I think y'all saw he was broke. He said he had no money for his campaign, but he got a heart. And that's all that counts. Wait, I had to put this comment up there. Like, y'all said that too about Tiffany. I got to scratch my head. But Tiffany showed her belligerence. She showed the way she was for 8 years, though. That's different, just a little different. Now, when we went back in the videos, Tiffany was acting all out funky. She was acting funky, wasn't listening, making up shit in her head. She told them that they were supposed to be evicting the lady who got her house shot up. Y'all remember that? I'm going to have to just not totally agree with this, but being broke is not not, basically is there lack of funds or lack there manager funds. So if that's something that we do have to pay attention to with Nate, that's something you need to pay attention to. But if they got check and balance systems, then that needs to be in place, especially if they get someone in like Wiedemann in. Y'all better change the law and get her ass back in there. And get her back in there. All right. Do y'all want me to go over the little bit of reading from Nate's case real quick? I could do that. We could do that real quick. And then we'll get out of here because I'm going to put all the Nates together. I'm going to edit this live. And most likely I'm going to cut the part out with me cursing out that guy. I'm going to cut that out. Or maybe I could just leave it because y'all know I cut this up. So I'll just not even add that. But we're going to keep that for the receipts because we're going to tell them, fuck around and get down. Yeah, once Grace act nice, talk all finance, law, y'all mess with me. And then the hood got to come out. Disrespect my page. I don't even like half the stuff that y'all people say, but I don't go on your page. How do you have the cahoots to come on my page and expect me not to say nothing? I'm going to eat your ass alive. That's totally coming in my house. This right here is my house. Okay? People who here love me and I love y'all. That's like bringing a stranger in your house, yelling in your house. You thought I was about to let that go down here, baby? Not today. Not in my house. I'm very funny about my shit. Nobody even be in my house. My real house, it'd be just me by myself. I don't like friends, no new friends. I don't like people in my house. I don't play no games. I'd be peaceful. So this right here, this house, the only time it's getting ruckus is when I bring it. How about that? Now let's get to this little 6-page document that Nate showed on his page of the read. Since y'all want to disrespect Nate, let me give Nate a little bit of credibility because y'all ain't got the smarts to write up a paper and represent yourself in the midst of beasts and animals out there. Bought lawyers, bought and paid, everybody on the same side. And the judge was like, damn, you did that, Nate. So let's play that real quick. Let's read it real quick. Shout out to Nate. I ain't gonna let them play you. I'm not gonna let them play you, son. All right, y'all may not be able to see this live, but this is basically undisputed fact. Fells filed a nomination paper on November 12, 2024. They included the requisite statement of candidacy, statement of economic interest, and 97 pages of bonded petition sheets. Objectors Keith Price and Michael Smith raised an objection to Fells' candidacy. The electoral board to overrule 4 or 5 of the objections. The 5th objection alleged that Fells' failure to bond the statement of candidacy of his nomination papers violated Section 10-4. We went in that. Those two sections, 10-4 and -10, with 2 separate sections. On December 30th, 2024, the election board voted 2-1 to sustain the objection. All right, let's get to page 2. What the hell? Okay, page 2 looks so weird. Let's get to page 2. Hit the like button. Thank you, guys. Y'all see I be going through personality glitches. They be fucking around. Why you gotta make me a thug when I'm trying to be intellectual? Because, baby, I'm a thug. Shut up. My favorite resident. She like, damn, why y'all got her started? I just got her tanked. She did. But now I'm not. All right, let's go. Standards of review. So this is whether they wanted to review whether Section 10-4 of the election code requires Smith to bind his statement to his petition sheets. So they were going back and forth between different court cases that we went over, and it says under Chickens, however, this case may present a mixed question, even though the facts are undisputed. There, the Illinois Supreme Court stated an examination of the legal effect of giving statements of fact involving mixed questions of fact and law and standards review clearly erroneous. So if y'all don't know what they're saying, is basically they were trying to make a statement of fact between the two different laws, 10-3 and 10-4. They were trying to merge them together and say All of that had to be bonded. So that's what he was saying. Based on that case, we can't change the requirements of what section says and bond them and make them into a section of fact. Okay. So let's go on to page 3. We kind of just breaking this down because I wanted to hear what the lawyer had, the doctor. I go from the lawyer to the doctor. Y'all know my profession. I wanted to hear what the judge got to say. All right. So the election code required that the petition fees be neatly fastened together in a book form by placing the sheets in the pile and fastening them together at one edge in a secure, suitable manner. This was section 4. The code also stated that the nomination paper must include the statement of candidacy. Correction is section 10-5. I was thinking it's 10-3 and 10-4. I do apologize. It's 10-4 and 10-5. My correction. But it says there is no dispute that Phil bonded his petition. There is also no dispute that his nomination paper was included with the statement of candidacy. Phil violates, hold up. It says Phil violates points out. So it said violates. I don't know if that's supposed to be meaning that he kind of referenced, but points out a board conceded in page 2. I'm trying to look at the case real quick. I'm trying to see what case this was he cited. Okay, so basically this is what he is. He said based on section 10-4, the board made the decision. Okay, on section 10-4, but it says section 10-4 does not expressly prove that the statement of candidacy be bond with the petition sheet. Moreover, no appellant cases hold that the statement of candidacy must be bonded with the petition. Okay, so the board December 30th decision in this case rallies solely on the cases involved so-called later filed statements of candidacy. So the ones they tried to use against Nate was the ones that they had filed separately, but before the deadline, and that didn't apply to him. This is why you guys have to know law. Even when you're doing case law, you have to find certain elements that actually apply to your case. So what they brought up there in front of us, it did not really apply to Nate because he wasn't in those positions. And that's what the judge was saying. This don't apply to him, so you're using this. And that's why he got on the lawyer a little bit like, and you told him this, and where in the case does it? And she was he wasn't trying to embarrass her, but if you go back and watch now you're going to see why he was saying what he did. Okay. So, they went into a few of the cases that actually show that binding wasn't necessity of those two petitions. Let's move forward. I want to see what else he has to say. I need him to get down just a little bit more. We're going to move to page 4 because I do want to show you that Nate is not a fool. He may be broke, but he ain't a fool. Now, as far as his business, maybe I need to look into that. But if they said it was a building that was liquidated, that was something that I wanted to probably say. I don't know if somebody left him a building, because if he broke, how the fuck he got a building? Excuse my language. That's something we got to think about. So he had to inherit that building. And what I noticed being invested in tax liens and tax deeds, when you let younger people get property that they're not ready for, can't pay the taxes, that they usually lose that property. So understand that a building can be probably commercial or residential or both, and the tax rate can be high. So if he can't pay $2,000 for credit cards, how the hell he gonna pay for building taxes? I'm just throwing that out there because I don't know where Nate got building taxes from. Where you been, Valerie? You here for the mess, huh? You came right on time. I didn't see you in a long time. The day I'm talking shit, I was wondering where you was at. Where Valerie at? As soon as I'm talking shit, you popped up, didn't you? Let's get to it. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button. Hit the like. I appreciate you. I was talking shit about these people who popped up in my chat. You need to rewind because they done lost their mind, girl. They lost their mind, Valerie. They crazy. Anyway, to end this off, let me see if there's anything significant because I'm getting ADHD and I'm getting a little tired. Basically, Nate won this because he's not a fool. Now, they went into other cases. I'm trying to see because I want him to say something directly towards Nate. This is them going over cases. Because they wore me out, I can't even do the cases right now. Y'all know I'll break this down. I may have to do this on another day because somebody wanted me to break this down in detail, but we did that with all of these cases, and it's very draining. All right, let's go. Let's just listen to this part. This is 5. Here, he says, again, in an event, Phil's foul was not even a 2-step process. This is what he's confirming. It was never a 2-step process. It appears that the board decision is rooted in what Mr. Johnston described as general practice. You remember that lady was saying that this general practice of what lawyers do? And the judge could not take that because that is not law. And that's when I knew it was a problem when she said that. Oh, this is general practice, but you cannot put that on Nate because he's not a lawyer and that's not the law. So what this judge says right here is clearly insufficient grounds to invalidate Phil's candidacy under Lucy versus Latkins. It says, and where the ballot access was favored in the absence of a clear legislative statement to contrary. So basically, there's no statement in section 10-4 or 10-5 that validated that it's a general practice that those two documents were supposed to be bonded together. So why did Nate win this? Tell me why. You know why Nate won this? Because he was able to articulate himself without lying, without gaslighting, without downgrading people. He just spoke the facts. And that's why I actually respect Nate, because he don't do what other people do, gaslight, try to change the narrative. He put the facts out there, what it is. If it was a mistake, hey, it's a mistake. We're going to fix it. But this is not what it is. So in my opinion, Nate is not perfect. He is a little brokish, and y'all need to help him get his stuff together. Even if he, have people around him. You guys may want to suggest it to make y'all comfortable. You want to take a finance class? Make sure you take a finance class. Even though you know that he's not going to be directly in charge of money and that the people around him is going to be able to show stop his ass just like her when you have the other right people around him. That's why you have to choose the right trustees. So this is a family affair. This is a family affair. So I did have to speak of the mess. I think I hit everything, and y'all got a little bit of extra because I did not know that mess was going to start. The goal was to talk about what happened. Jedediah did not have a knife. It was a mic. We clarified that. Also, Tiffany's response and her lawyers is beyond horrendous and disgusting. He should lose his bar license for the numerous lies and the omissions that he showed, as well as showing the total disrespect of someone going through a mental health crisis. They showed that video too damn long. That video was long as hell. You ain't show the fight long, but you showed this man with a gun to his head. And I think that's what made Random News get upset. Because even though I said that I don't mess with Jedediah, I made a logical fact and just being honest and wholehearted and human that shit was unacceptable. They expected me to dig in people's ass and just be weird like y'all. I'm to speak the truth. Random News, if you was a human being and nice, I would have respect for you. That's why I have the respect that I have for a Critical Smoker. He know how to be a human being. He may not like me. I don't even know how he feel, but he sure enough don't act like a fool like your dumb ass. Random TV, Reality Check TV. I don't know if he like me or don't, but he don't act like a fool like your dumb ass. Burgundy Blue, don't know if she like me, but she don't act like a fool like your dumb ass. Random News. That's why we have a mutual ground of respect, and people don't know how to take me because they don't know, oh, she's on her side, his side. I'm on nobody motherfucking side. I'm on the side of righteousness. So while I'm saying that, let's finish off because I'm gonna give y'all some words from the Torah, from Hebrews, on how they act, what made them find God. You need to listen, and you guys need to find God. How about that? Made the ugly come out with me. We almost out. Now, like,
I'm Cara Wilson. I'm the mother of Alexis Wilson, killed by Dalton, Illinois police. At the time that my daughter was killed, Tiffany stood in front of a microphone much like this and said that she stood with the cops and they did do the right thing by killing my 19-year-old child. Not only did she not take those words back, she didn't offer condolences. She's never said anything. The first thing she did was hire this group of security guards to surround her and PR. So the real reason Tiffany has security is hiding from accountability about what she said about Alexis Wilson when she was killed. Now, if you watch the coverage of this murder, these officers violated her rights, reached in her car, jumped in her car, and put 7 bullets in my child, 2 in her head and 5 down her side. And the next day, you guys tried to spin it like she did something. Watch the video. She did nothing to deserve this. And again, last time they brought up Alexis, she's doing what she does now. Look this way, look that way, every way, but at the person talking. You don't give a damn, and you never did, and you never acted like it. She called out a whole press conference to call my daughter a criminal, and Homewood Flossmoor graduate with no criminal record. But Tiffany, you have one.
Drunk as yeah, スライドするお前の地元にスライドする
Imagine if my small business blew up overnight and I woke up to some sales. Boost this video so people who like my products can find me.
Algorithm. Where you at, bitch? Cause I'm tired of posting viral content and getting 2.5 likes. We finna fight, ho.
Go. Love you guys and good night. Shout out to the Hebrews. We changing everywhere. How about that?